Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. And for the first time on this channel, we are joined by none other than Coldbrew. How are you doing, man?
Hey man, I'm doing great. Yeah, it's been I didn't realize we didn't collab for so long.
Yeah.
Uh, we did do like a collab before when we had the faction games,
Mm.
but not a one-on-one kind of thing. So yeah, it's been long overdue.
Yeah, your team beat us in the faction games. I don't wanna think about that. That hurt. That hurt a little bit. But
It's all
yeah.
fun. It's all fun.
Yeah, guys, make sure we're going to be doing a collaboration over on Coldbrew's channel as well. That will all be linked in the description, in the comments down below. So make sure to jump over there, check out the video, subscribe if you haven't. Yeah, I think we have a good time. But for today's video, what we're going to be talking about, I want to be picking Coldbrew's brain as someone that has been playing the game for a long time and knows a lot about the arena and the sorts of champions, and has seen probably a lot of the different metas and how the arena has changed. We've got a big change coming to the arena soon, which is what's next in Raid, right? This was a month ago, Live Arena, which is going to have a bunch of different features. So we're going to be talking about some of the champions and types of champions that we think are going to really be changing this up. And we're going to also be talking about on Coldbrew's channel, how to spend those medals that you're going to get. How do you want to save them up? Where do you want to put them to get the most bang for your buck? So yeah, what are your initial thoughts? Are you excited for Live Arena?
I'm honestly excited, really excited about it because of the things that it can be if they put in a little bit more effort. I talked about it briefly on my channel as the last couple of minutes of a video I did the other day. And the Live Arena has so much potential in revitalizing the game and how we look at the game and how all players look at the game, not just the end game ones. So I can even see it in the future where you just set up friendly battles as part of, as an example of Live Arena. And I said a battle between me and you, and then we can do competitions and all that. And that's how I think of the future of the game and how it can really grow and be, and grow in the next couple of years. But Live Arena in itself, I think it's going to be huge because not only you can't use dupes, it's the banning system. It's what's really going to separate on how people think and how the innovators will be doing their own special strategies, and then people will going to follow them, and that's how the metas will be created. And every now and then things are going to change. So I think do you want to start or I start? I think the first thing that's ever gonna happen in Live Arena in terms of banning and how champions are picked in that way, it's because you have 5 champions, okay, to pick from, and one's gonna get banned. I think everybody will be running 2 damage dealers as a sort of strategy.
Yeah, that was definitely something I was thinking about, because if you go in with just 1 damage dealer and it gets banned away, you've got no win condition. Like, if you can't win, there's a time limit. Eventually that time limit runs out. You've lost. Goodbye points. Yeah, that's a really good point.
You're gonna end up with 4 supports that are just hanging out there, and you're either gonna quit or the other person is gonna beat you with stronger supports if you both do the banning of the damage dealer. So it's gonna be really boring if that happens. So I think the 2 damage dealers is the easiest one I can think of in terms of strategies.
100%. Yeah, just so you guys can see in the background, you can see this is how it's looking to work, at least as of now. You go in, you take turns picking. I think they might have said, like, at lower levels, maybe dupes are allowed, or you could have the same champion as the enemy team. For example, here, both teams actually have Duchess. Both teams have Mashald. I think when you get up into the higher levels, I think that you can't. So, like, if Team 1 picks Duchess, you can't pick Duchess Team 2. You can't have multiple copies of the champion of the team. You go through the picks, you get to ban one of the enemy's champions, and then you pick your team leader. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, so as you say, double damage dealers. If one is banned away, you've got it. You're still good.
Yeah.
It's also that's gonna mean that teams could potentially be really squishy, which is you let the 2 damage dealers through, you ban away one of the supports. It's gonna be pretty. You could have some really explosive, really fast battles.
Yeah, because I can imagine it if somebody's going with, I mean, at least the earlier accounts, the younger accounts will be going with the ever ever working, always working strategy of speed booster, defense down and then damage dealer. They will go with that, and then they get their speed booster banned, so the other person instantly goes first.
Yeah,
So that's also another strategy, right? So are you gonna
100%.
run 2 speed boosters and then 1 damage dealer, and then you get banned your damage dealer? It's these kind of things that makes it interesting on how people are gonna be using different champions. I think we might not even see a defense down champion, a debuff application champion.
Yeah.
Those are not gonna be the case anymore. It's not the case in higher arena because of polymorph already.
Yes.
So in earlier arena, that is not so much. The awakenings are not so frequent. So you still see those debuffs. But if that's gonna mean, I might need to run two boosters and then 2 damage dealers and then another one who's like a mix, so it's gonna cause things to go up and down. And champions like Deacon who do both a boost and a defense down, those are gonna be huge, I think, in terms of like an epic that does that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, champions that do 2 things. I want to focus in, before we go to some of the supports like Deacon here. Let's see, can we think of any specific example? I've got a few in mind here, like specific examples for damage dealers. Let me throw in one. So I think like when it comes to a damage dealer, I think 2 factors that could be really big. Number one, it might actually be very hard to ensure that your damage dealer has the buff they need to do damage. So increased attack or increased defense if they're a defensive nuker. Right. That might be tough to get. Like your Arbiter might get banned away. You might not have that. So champions that can do good damage with that or provide their own buff. And then I'm also thinking like a champion that can be scary in Stone Skin. So I think one really good example, I just pulled him a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
I think Hefrak would be a really good example. A champion, you can throw him in Stone Skin, and he just hits so hard that it doesn't matter if he's in Stone Skin. He still can kill the enemy team, especially because with the ban, that enemy team, it's a good chance they're squishier than they would expect. Your team might be squishier than you expect. If they kill one of your teammates, he gets to go.
Yeah.
And he actually gives himself increased attack as well. So I'm looking at a champion like Hefrak and saying he's actually very good for arena as it is right now. But I think in the live arena setting, I think the weaknesses you're going to run into, a champion like him becomes really, really scary. I'll put in Hefrak as an example. Do you have any other, do you feel like there's any particular champions that stand out to you, or why?
Specifically with an increased attack, I can't think of it right now with an increased attack, but I can think of like increased crit rate. And an epic example is Gembo. Gembo can do that. Increases crit rate, increases crit damage. So it's a self-boosting ability that he does not depend on others to make himself stronger. You run him already with lower stats because of that. And that's gonna allow people to think of him as more of a nuker over somebody else who depends on that increased attack to do a real amount of damage. You can go heavier on Gembo and his attack and crit damage. And then you can also remove buffs with him. It's an amazing epic.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah, I forgot that he can irresistible. Yeah, reduce buffs. That could be huge. Yeah. Reduce buffs on the enemy team. Yeah, I like it. Another type that I was thinking could be cool, I think bomb champions could be pretty scary. So let's say like Gaius the Gleeful coming in as a fusion from last year now. I guess it's quite a while since he came in. Putting out these AoE bombs is that, they're vulnerable to cleansers. They're vulnerable to block debuffs or high accuracy champions. But you come into a draft like this and you're coming into the end of it, let's say you picked up your first damage dealer, you're saving that second damage dealer for your last pick, and you're looking at the enemy team, you're going, oh, this enemy team does not look like champions. They've got a lot of resistance. Maybe they've got a Mithrala in there, but they've no other cleanser. They've no other block debuffs. I ban her away. I just sit pretty. I send in my bomber in Stone Skin. They're just sitting there and going, cool. Look, if you build Stone Skin on your champs, I don't care. I've banned away your only way to stop bombs. Let's go. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think? Yeah. Do you like bombs at all?
To be honest, I don't like bombs that much. It's but I understand the concept that you're explaining. Like
Mm,
ban out the only possible thing that can stop your strategy, which is bombs. So the cleansers, if you stop a cleanser, it's done.
yeah,
They'll just accept the defeat unless they have really high resistance, which is unlikely for most teams. And yeah, I could totally see that happening.
interesting. It's so funny, like 'cause this is already, I'd say, quite a different meta in a bunch of ways to the
Right.
classic arena where bombs are something of a thing if you know the enemy team's in stone skin, but you can struggle. Certainly, sheep would be the thing. Polymorph is the thing to look out for. As you said, though, that's more late game players where you've got access
Yeah,
to more
yeah.
soul stones.
It's really heavy in the in Plat Arena compared to, let's say, even Gold 5.
Mm.
Um, even Gold 5, you don't see polymorph as much as in Plat Arena. In Plat Arena, it's 60-70% of teams have at least the polymorph
Yeah,
in them.
it is ridiculous. Um, what what would be? Let me jump. Let's change pace for a bit. So
Yeah.
this is something I've been thinking about as well. What would be? It's obviously hard to tell the meta, but what do you think right now would be like the best first pick, especially in a world where you take that champ, the enemy team can't get it? What's like
Mm,
that first pick that it's like, bam, I've got something on my account that I could definitely think of. I pulled really recently that I think would be quite OP, a type
mm.
of champ we haven't talked about, but
In terms of just not letting the enemies also get him, and
yeah, like that's one
I,
aspect. But just being like, ooh,
huh.
no matter which way this draft goes,
I
this
think
champion's nuts.
Brogni will be
Ooh,
really strong here for
interesting.
Arena.
Yeah,
The reason that I'm saying this is his kit is huge. It's insane on what Brogni provides to a team. He has defensive capabilities and offensive capabilities in the sense of assisting your damage dealer. He's got an increased attack. He's got block debuffs. His
yeah.
shield does damage. So if you run him in a bolster, as an example, that also creates a defensive mechanism for your team to do damage when you get attacked.
Hmm.
He can remove buffs. So his kit is so big that it's a comfortable first pick. But again, should you make him as a first pick? It's like the draft all over again.
Yeah, yeah. Like the champ
Yeah.
I was thinking of for me is like probably the best arena champ I have, which most people don't. They don't have. I pulled a Yumiko recently, so I was thinking, ooh,
Yeah.
getting a lockout champion in as a first pick, that becomes pretty scary, right? And she has the advantage of kind of having this built-in immunity to debuffs at the
Perfect
start,
fail. Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
not so like that's it. If you got a Yumiko, it could be a good first pick. That's useful to
It
maybe some of
can
you,
be an amazing first pick.
maybe 10 viewers.
Um,
Like that's something I was leaning towards. I was thinking as a budget first pick that a really OP arena champion a lot of people could have. I was thinking something like Mithrala could be kind of good, right? Going in with Mithrala,
yeah.
so much survivability. Actually, the hex with Petrify, that becomes something that is really difficult to deal with as well when your team comp could be this limited. She brings increased attack and increased defense. She's protecting you from some of those debuffs, some of those bombs and stuff. Everyone can get her. I think like for a lot of people, this might be end up being one of those contested picks, or maybe Arbiter as well. That again, everyone's gonna have, and it's like, oh, if they, let's be real, for like someone that's a few months into the game, Arbiter's probably in your fastest gear. So if they get
Yeah.
Arbiter and you don't, it's like they've won the speed race. You're gonna be outsped. Um,
Yeah, but then you expect that you'll ban the arbiter
yes.
just to
Oh,
make it so that the race is no
that's
longer,
I like
a matter
that.
of discussion. It's all about, it's all about the battle between the debuffer. This is for lower tiers, okay? The debuffer
Hmm.
and then the damage dealers. Um yeah, I think these free champions that are massively available will see a lot of action.
Mm-hmm.
For older accounts, stuff like UDK will pretty much be always in the teams.
Oh yeah.
Ronda, it's probably gonna be in there. Even Razin. Razin is an OG in terms of arena picks. High
Oh
resist
yeah.
and the turn meter down that he applies is so strong. So he used to be a really strong pick because of his high resist.
That's actually a really
And
good point. Yeah.
I could see that in lower tiers, and as you go up, you'll see Lydia's for sure be in the arena, so she blocks
Yeah.
out that first revive. It's a ton of possibilities, and because of that, and because of how the picks and bans will be going, it really opens up on many things, which is a reason because we have so many champions. There's so many different ways that they can go, which is one thing that is really good about this game. It's not
Yeah.
as simple as other games which have like let's say 150 champions and things become simpler in arenas. I've played a couple of those games, and yeah, it's so much simpler when the options are limited.
Definitely. Are there any champions that you think are like super meta right now that are gonna fall off because of the ban? Like something that's crazy for classic, but not gonna work so well in live arena?
Hmm. I can't think of it right now because again, it all depends on how comfortable you are with banning stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think what is really gonna rise is hybrid damage dealers. Okay,
Yes.
those are really gonna be the thing that um
Yeah.
that becomes more used, because as we said, you're gonna ban the damage dealer. Okay, I'll have one that is maybe a hybrid.
Mm.
So yeah, you went over Valkyrie. She is a good example of that. She can do two things:
hmm
be a support, and also if you put her in damage,
She is.
she
Yeah.
can really hurt. So those hybrid damage dealers might see a little bit more action than before, and who knows on how that is gonna form different teams with multiple hybrid damage dealers, so that you have no option of banning them, but then you have to ban something else.
hmm
um I think Mortu is still gonna be as strong as ever, as an example
Oh
of
yeah.
Demon Spawn. The Demon Spawn, that annoying Peril is still gonna be so huge in the arenas. So
I'm
whoever has Mortu is gonna be strong
I'm a dirty
in there.
Mordu exploiter. I think I've got 3 of them. I've got 2 built. I might build
Ooh,
a third. Yeah, I use Mordu a
uh,
lot.
I only have the one, but yeah, he can be so annoying
hmm
in arena, and you always see him in defensive teams, and you're like, oh, is he
Yeah.
gonna proc it? So it's gonna be the same thing in live arena.
Yeah,
So if you don't have a way to handle Mortu, you'll have to ban him, and then
that's true.
the other person will go with his other nuker.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I was thinking like a champion type that might fall off actually might be champions like Baron, who's like
Mm,
really strong right now, obviously because he hits so
right.
insanely hard. But problem with a champion like Baron, it's really tough to keep him alive. Uh,
Yep.
so often you'd see champions like that maybe run with something like Nekret the Great, right? A protection champion, but it's like a team
Yep.
that's sort of specifically built around them. It's super powerful, but if you break that combo, you go, okay, well, I can survive the Baron first hit. Maybe I've got Stone Skin, but I ban away Nekret. Suddenly that Baron, like, how do you keep Baron alive? Like, he's just going to keep falling over dead.
Yeah, he's very squishy.
Yeah.
So yeah, without maybe bolster
Mm.
and I don't know, some other way for them to protect the damage dealer,
Mm.
there's no way that Baron is staying alive or even doing as much damage, because right now Barons are usually built very slow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with the Necred, they force the attack. And okay, the teams are very different now. So
That's a good point,
it,
right? You know?
we'll see totally different things up in the top tier of arenas. It's going to
Mm.
be very different. So the players watching videos, let's say, to help themselves make a decision on how to make their own playstyle for live arena, would find it difficult, because it will heavily depend on what you have available,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and also what gear you have available, which is a big part of the game, and yeah, and how much you want to play this new live arena thing, because that it's gonna be refreshes, so you're gonna be spending gems if you really want to go heavy with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought like something that struck me, what you were saying there was, you're still going to be doing classic arena and tag arena. And like you said, you're going to have champions like Baron built super slow for teams with
Mm-hmm.
protection to hit really hard. And like that champion, you can't change their build because it's going to really affect the classic and tag arena that you're still doing and you still need them for, but they might not be as good for live arena. Like, you might need to be building very different champions, like those hybrid damage dealers that can do both. I think Valkyrie is such a good example. Good champion for classic or tag, but not top tier, but could be absolutely insane for live arena because she's bringing protection, but she's also bringing damage. The disruption could be really powerful. This champion becomes nuts. Not to mention the fact she's nuts for Fire Knight as well. Please give me one Plarium. I would appreciate that. That would be good. But I think it's fun. It's something to start thinking about now, right? Because, you know, for a lot of players, it's going to take time to save up the bucks and the resources to build up these champions. It's worth considering what to build up now because Live Arena could be coming kind of soon. But yeah, it's interesting.
I think before the summer. I think before the summer we're going to have it.
Yeah, I think so too. Hopefully we've given you guys some ideas. What we're going to do now, we're going to hop over on a Cold Brews channel and we're going to talk about how to use these rewards, right? So you do live arena, what you get out of it, you're going to be getting a new type of Great Hall medal that's going to upgrade you in a bunch of different areas. We're going to be talking about where to spend those and what to do with them on Cold Brew's channel. So listen, Cold Brew, thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed watching. Anything you want to say before we go?
Just make sure you know, refreshing your strategies for arena, because when this comes out, it's gonna be you know, a mess in the first week.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to the chaos.
Yeah. Me too. I'm looking forward to the comments on our videos.
Absolutely. It's gonna be a wild time. It's I'm really hyped for it. It's actually hyped me up a lot, I have to say, because it's like all the creativity that's going to go into this at the start is going to be nuts. All right. Well, listen, there we go. Cold Brew, thank you again for joining. Links in the description, guys. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.